WWE pitched a new look for Adam Cole, baby. Another Raw star is off TV for the foreseeable, and a top AEW faction could be splitting up. That's all in the wrestling news right now. Adam Cole has been doing some nice things since he left the warm embrace of Vince McMahon into the similarly warm embrace of Tony Khan.
Yes, yeah.
Adam Boom's song, by the way, it was number one in some iTunes charts.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean,
good job, Ruckus.
If there was anybody who was going to be capable of that wasn't Fandango, I'd have to argue Adam Cole is high on that list.
Mash those two up now, you cowards. Fightful Select reporting about WWE from WWE Creative. They pitched that Adam Cole should cut his hair as part of a new look for the main roster. So there was quite a few rumours and innuendos about what Adam Cole's pitches were from WWE, and one of them involved him having a nice new buzz cut as part of the roster, and there was talk of him changing his name as well, but particularly the one of cutting his hair, to which Cole reportedly went, no chance.
Look, this is it. Like, I used to have long and glorious hair.
Why did you change your mind?
I was going on holiday somewhere incredibly hot, and I was like, screw this. But I just couldn't do it. I had to get my hair cut. But it was like, it's the biggest. You just don't cut your hair, man. Never cut your hair. Never cut your hair. Your dreams die.
Good to have
you know for a fact if they were going to change his name, they'd give him a bowl cut and they'd call him Adam Bowl, and it would be Vince. Can you imagine him with like a mushroom haircut? Proper like 90s 4-year-old.
Adam Bowl. Adam Bowl, baby! Why did you do it?
He just shakes his head like that and his hair goes...
I don't know why that's tickled me, Adam Bowl. Okay, it's also been previously reported that Adam Bowl was also pitched to become Adam Boom and become Keith Lee's manager. Adam Cole has shot that down. That was not going to be the case.
Right.
He wasn't going to manage Bearcat. Adam Bowl. But certainly the one with the haircut, he's not getting a haircut for WWE.
I mean, you can do the haircut in a good way if you do it the Punk way. You have him instigate like a hair versus hair feud or a hair versus mask feud, and then you have him lose it. But no, look at him. You don't cut his hair, he's beautiful.
He's a beautiful man.
Oh.
Talking of beautiful, the beautiful Eva Marie is off Monday Night Raw for a bit. So Eva Marie hasn't really been back that long in the grand scheme of things. She kind of came back as a device to get Piper Niven, Doudrop onto the main roster. Their feud is finished up, and then on Raw, we saw Shayna Baszler absolutely clatter Eva Marie to the point where people said it was a babyface turn for Shayna Baszler. I think Shayna Baszler is now going to be used on Monday Night Raw as like the female equivalent of 911 from ECW. Just go through the roster of gimmicks they don't want anymore and just have her just shatter them.
As long as there's a better payoff, as long as there's a much better payoff at the end, I just want to see Shayna just be the best.
Yeah.
That's all I want for her.
She's very, very good. She's very, very good. Eva Marie.
Miss NXT Shayna.
WWE say Eva Marie was evaluated after Raw after being treated for a possible dislocation of her elbow following a brutal attack by Shayna Baszler. And so this is basically writing Eva Marie off TV for a while. Whether or not they're done with Eva Marie, whether it was just a short, sharp run, I don't know. She's still signed to the company. But it might be something they bring her back during the draft, move her over the other side.
Well, this could be it. It could be, well, we've got plans for you to do this down the line, but these people are all locked up in that story, and these people are locked up in that story, but we do need somebody to debut this star, and then you kind of come and do this for 2-3 months, and then see you later.
Yeah, so
and then we'll bring you back for the draft.
At least for now, she's not around. So Eva Marie, another star, like Alexa Bliss, who was written off WWE TV this week, no doubt. I mean, there's talk with the Alexa Bliss thing, nothing concrete, but a lot of people suggesting that this is the end of spooky Alexa Bliss.
Please.
I don't know if I'm.
Please.
No, I quite to Alexa Bliss.
You know, like
spooky.
I've warmed to it more, but it still just feels incredibly awkward now that Bray's gone, and we've got this weird quasi-continuation of Bray's kind of universe, and it just feels kind of disjointed, but not in the way it's supposed to feel disjointed. It just kind of feels a bit like, well, how long is this going to go on? And it's like, unless you kind of spice it up a bit more. And I don't know if, Lily and Charlotte tearing it up Lily. I don't know if it's just, maybe I'm too old. Maybe it's not, it's targeted at a much younger audience. But I just want to see Alexa back to being Alexa.
You're not a fan of watching Alexa Bliss chewing on an Alka-Seltzer?
No. I mean, I commend, you've got to commend them for trying to go for unique and new and interesting stories, but it just feels like it's been a bit of a beat off, and it's nobody's fault really. It just feels like it's been a bit of a beat off. Like, just kind of, if it's supposed to be doing that, it's just kind of, and it's just sort of getting
a bit like a theme song.
Yeah,
I listened to it the other day, and it's very convoluted. Like it seems to lack some basic structure.
I think they could continue with it, but for me, I don't know. With the draft, it's kind of you can renew that. Right?
Yeah. Eva Marie's not on telly for a while. That was the story. Kiera Hogan is going to be around for a while in AEW. She was on Dark Elevation, and Excalibur let it slip that she's actually signed with All Elite Wrestling now. We haven't had the traditional match graphic.
Excalibur's in trouble. What's he like?
Oh, no.
Didn't even give him time to get the graphic up. He stole all their thunder announcing it. No, this is a great signing for AEW.
Yeah, I think that she's somebody that can really add something special to the women's division is Kiera Hogan. We saw her in action on AEW Dark Elevation. She's been on a few times now, and she very much announced back in August, I think it was, that she was leaving Impact for new things, and obviously she's had a bit of intrigue from AEW, and that's her home now. Great signing. Lovely stuff. And also, speaking of AEW, Dave tweeted this saying, evidently there's a big match being taped tomorrow, unannounced for Rampage on Friday.
Ooh.
Don't know what we read into that, but just gonna drizzle that in there. Ooh. Find out later. Finally, a top AEW faction could be saying goodbye. Chris Jericho spoke the other day about how the Inner Circle there was talk of the Inner Circle splitting up,
right?
And Tony Khan talked him out of it and said, "Look, don't split up. Just sort of do your own thing for a bit." Potentially, the Pinnacle could be wrapping time now.
It's a bit of a shame, but at the same time, is it fair to say it's been on the cards? It's been coming.
I feel like the Pinnacle was built as a device, as a foil for the Inner Circle, and now that feud is done.
There's no real kind of next step, is there? Unless you want to try and make them fit. Because they exist out of spite, right? So it doesn't really, you can't really. There's no big mission behind them that they can apply to different people.
Sean Spears put out a tweet saying, well, SH1T. I guess I'll just have to do it myself again. So, which suggests that Sean Spears is off doing his own thing, which again suggests that and plus the fact that the Pinnacle are being seen less and less together on screen, they're probably just quietly done.
You've got to do this though. Things can't last forever, and talent needs to be able to keep coming up with fresh stuff. And AEW seems to be very good at that so far. So,
Absolutely.
Let them get on with it.
Let them crack on and do their thing. And we're going to crack on and do our own things as well. We're going to do a Nitro watch along for the end of the week, aren't we?
Yes,
we'll try and squeeze one in. We're doing, on the classic Nitro review, we're up to Fall Brawl 1995.
Because I was going to say, if it's just, I didn't know if I was like a week out, so if I am, we'll have to do a double episode or whatever.
We'll be fine. We'll make it up. We'll do the admin stuff.
Awesome.
We'll be fine. So we're going to do that. Desert Island Graps featuring Calvin Tankman from Major League Wrestling later today. Ooh. We had a lovely, albeit brief chat, did Calvin and I, and he's wrestling Minoru Suzuki this weekend. So I'm glad I caught him now.
Yeah.
He might not be in a good way.
That's going to be a very, 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 very red chest. That is.
And on the subject of podcasts, can you remember the first wrestling podcast that you listened to? Something that really inspired you to get into the wrestling?
I'm kind of a late adopter to podcasts. I'm a bit of a stickler for just stories mainly, and there wasn't really anything that was sort of tickling my fancy. It wasn't really until Pritchard started taking off. But I dip in and out of other podcasts, but I think when Pritchard started taking off, before it kind of dipped off a cliff, and now I'm on to Jeff Jarrett. Kurt Angle's show's pretty good.
Nice. Well, the reason I say that is because obviously the Cultaholic podcast is waiting for you wherever you get your podcasts from, with daily wrestling news, classic reviews and interviews. But also a podcast that I've listened to for pretty much my entire adult life is a show called RBR Wrestling. And the guy who hosts that is a guy called William R. Washington. For 17 years he's hosted that podcast. And it was his last show today.
Really?
And I wanted to give a little bit of love because when I first discovered RBR Wrestling, I was working at a warehouse. And the idea of doing all this for a living was impossible. And it was that show and William that really got me into doing it as an audio medium. So I did speak to Will this morning, but wanted to say once again, nothing but love to William R. Washington on your final show. Onwards and upwards, friends. Confirmed for AEW. Can't confirm that. Have an amazing day. News as we get it at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.